Hi there, you're welcome. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome to Football 3 STGH. I'm elated to have met you this afternoon. Uh, Thanks for the audience. Like I always do, I'll urge and implore you to like, to share, to drop your comment in the comment section, and subscribe to become a part of the Football 3 STGH family. Yeah. So I have a few stories for you on the local scene. We will bring you the preview to the Club World Cup either tonight or early tomorrow morning, and so we invite supporters and fans of the various clubs participating in the maiden edition of the FIFA Club World Cup to I don't want to say studio. We'll be hosting it somewhere around the sports stadium, Pajo Sports Stadium. That's where we'll be bringing you the preview of the maiden edition of the Club World Cup. So do well to subscribe and tune in when the video goes live. Thank you. So I have a few stories for you on the local scenes. The season has ended for the Ghana Premier League. On Sunday, we played the MTN FA Cup final. Yesterday, my guys brought you the FA Cup final preview, the statistics, and the quest for supremacy. So if you've not checked out that video, you go to the channel, you go to our tabloids, and then you check that video of the MTN FA Cup final preview between Kumasi and Kotoko and Golden Kings. So on the local transfer scenes, goalkeeper Solomon Abeze last featured for Dreams FC in their CAF Confederations Cup. He was ruled out with injury, and so throughout the whole of last season, because the season has ended, we are now calling it last season. Throughout the whole of last season, he was sidelined and was stretched out at home. He's gone through the rehabilitation process. His nurse's injury. He's now in the best of shapes, and then clubs have started negotiating with him. About 3 weeks to a month, I brought it to your known that both Kumasi Kotoko and House of Folk had placed a call to the agent and management of goalkeeper Solomon Abeze on his availability, and that if he would even want to feature for the team. So I think the conversations have softened on the side of Kumasi Kotoko. I think Kumasi Kotoko have identified different goalkeepers who they think can help them in their quest for supremacy in the next season Ghana Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Confederations Cup that hopefully they'll be featuring in. And so the conversation has now been limited to goalkeeper Solomon Abeze, his management and agents, and management of Acquah House of Folk. So our conversations has taken a new dimension, and it has heightened. And so as we speak, House of Folk are in advanced conversations to secure the signature of goalkeeper Solomon Abeze. He was adjudged CAF's best goalkeeper in the 2023 CAF Confederations Cup when he featured for Dreams FC. I mean, he was a revelation and a delight to watch in the goalpost of Dreams FC. But then due to injuries, he was ruled out, and then his contract has run out with the Devil-based club, and so he's now unattached, free agent, and it's available and ready to negotiate with any club that comes forth and comes to bear. So House of Folk has now advanced conversations with goalkeeper Solomon Abeze, and then by the end of this week, which is Saturday, or early next week, somewhere around Monday, he will sign as a new player for Acquah House of Folk. Now moving on. So let me do this story before I go on to the transfers. I should have made it my first story. So today, at the launch of the President's Cup for this year, it has come to the known that Acquah House of Folk, the Continental Club Masters, will be locking horns with their Acquah rivals, Kumasi and Kotoko, in the President's Cup this year. Last year's President's Cup featured these same clubs. Remember, Kumasi and Kotoko beat Acquah House of Folk by 2-1. I think that was Sambo Neil's debut game for Kumasi and Kotoko. And even though he had not yet trained with the team for even a week, he was a standout performer and was adjudged the man of the match. So on July 6th, this year, the President's Cup will feature the same clubs, the two most glorious clubs on the local scene, the two most decorated clubs, Kumasi and Kotoko and House of Folk will lock horns on July 6th and feature for the game in honor of the President of Ghana. So July 6th, Kotoko meets Acquah rivals, Acquah House of Folk, and the gate will be open to everyone at a free charge. So we don't pay for anything. You just go get your ticket and go sit down and watch your football teams play. So I've done that with the President's Cup, so we can move on to the next stories. Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I don't know. I think this is the umpteenth time I'm doing this story, and every day I do it, it takes a new turn. I hope this becomes the last time I'm doing this story, because that guy has featured on my tabloids for more than 2 weeks, and then I would like to move on from him. So Kumasi Asante Kotoko, I don't want to say has won, but then they look set to win the chase or the tug of war for Francis Acquah against House of Folk. You know that Kotoko had negotiated with Francis Acquah, and that they told him that they would need a service for next year. Francis Acquah looked through the Kotoko team and realized that their mainstay left back Patrick Asiedu is undisputed and has played all the matches for Kumasi Asante this season, and so it will take a lot of hard work and a lot of competition, a lot of rivalry to topple him when he signs for Kotoko. Negotiations take a new twist when Coach Kasim Mengo of Nations FC placed the call to Francis Acquah. He did his best to convince the guy, and I think he had convinced him to a greater percentage until Nations missed up on the GPL trophy and missed out on their solo to Africa. So it became a two-horse race between Kotoko and House of Folk. Yesterday, Kumasi Asante Kotoko sent their first official bid to Bechem United. It's quite surprising because Francis Acquah's contract with Bechem expires at the end of this month, and so in normal football terms, the player was at freedom to negotiate with Kotoko and move on as a free agent. But then the rapport that exists between Bechem and Kotoko is that of friend with Bechem United for the services of Francis Acquah. So yesterday, the first official bid from Kotoko went to Bechem United, and then they had confirmed to Kotoko through mail that they are willing to release Francis Acquah to them, and so Kotoko are now have the advantage and they are leading the race for Francis Acquah. I learned that House of Folk are now preparing their offer, and by close of today, House of Folk will also send their first official offer. I don't know how they intend to do it, because Kotoko had led them, had placed their first bid. The guys' agent and management have accepted that bid. Bechem United have also accepted that offer and are willing to release Francis Acquah to Kotoko. So House of Folk are about 24 hours late, but then they still think they can pull a string and acquire the services of Francis Acquah. So let's see how that tug of war goes. But as it stands, Kotoko has the advantage and they lead Accra House of Folk for the services of left back Francis Acquah from Bechem United. Still on Nations FC. Now, Coach Kasim Mengo last year finished fourth in the Ghana Premier League. This year, until the last two matches, he was leading the Ghana Premier League, and he was tipped to go on to win it. But then we know the sequences of events that happened at Enyinase, at Basake, when they went to meet Basake Wally Stars, and their last game that he played against Pardno Heart of Lions. I mean, they had worked hard for 32 weeks only to be undone by their own frailties in the last 2 weeks, and so they were unable to clinch the Ghana Premier League. So Coach Kasim Mengo has been having conversations indoors with close friends and relatives, and what we are getting is that he would like to reconsider his stance and change teams and move on to pursue other goals. And so Coach Kasim Mengo likely wouldn't be the head coach of Nations FC going into next year. And because of that, if he's to move, it means Nations will have to go for the services of a very experienced gaffer, and this has brought Maxwell Konadu to the limelight. So Nations FC have started inquiring about the availability of coach Maxwell Konadu. We learned that he had negotiated with House of Folk to a certain point. Some board members and management of House of Folk were really into the services of coach Maxwell Konadu, but then some somewhere last week, the official handle of House of Folk on X made it known that they are not negotiating with Coach Maxwell Konadu, and that is not going to be their new coach. And so I think that one ends everything. And so now Coach Maxwell Konadu unattached, and then he's available. So Dr. Kwame Chain, the patron and club owner, and his son Divine, who is the president of Nations FC, have started talking to Coach Maxwell Konadu and inquiring on his availability. And if negotiations get to that final point, Coach Maxwell Konadu will join the guys at Abrankese as the new head coach, the manager, and gaffer for Nations FC. So Maxwell Konadu to Nations FC, you have to keep an eye on that. On Tuesday, I made a story in the morning that Kamara Jenfi of BBN Stars, his father, his uncle were meeting the IMC chairman Nana Kwesi Apenkra at Kotoko Secretariat at Odene Acquah. So the meeting came on, and news that we gathered after the meeting was that it was a success, and that Kamara has given his word to Kotoko that is going to follow the footsteps of his dad, his uncle, his big brother, and that he also donned the red and white shirt of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, Kamara's contract expires on 20th June. Today's date is 12th. So in 8 days' time, his contract with BBN Gold Stars ceases to exist. So I find it amusing that Kumasi Asante Kotoko will still go on to write to BBN Gold Stars seeking for the services of Kamara. Why don't you wait for the week? Let the guy run out his contract and decide whether he's going to sign a new deal with BBN Gold Stars or he's going to join as a free agent. But then the news is that Kotoko's letter to BBN Gold Stars has been trashed and thrown into the dustbin. BBN Gold Stars didn't entertain that letter. Immediately they find that the letter was seeking for the services of Kamara Jenfi. CEO Kwesi Edu and his management have trashed that letter, and they are not ready to sit down with Kotoko and negotiate for the services of Kamara Jenfi. My advice to Kotoko is that let the guy run out his contract. If he truly wants to play for you, let him join you on free, because you don't go in, send a letter to a team whose player's contract expires in a week and seeking for his services. It doesn't happen anywhere. The football law says that if a player has less than 6 months remaining in his contract, he's eligible to negotiate with any club of his choice. Not just that, he can go on and sign a pre-contract agreement with that club. And then we have a player whose contract expires in 8 days, and you're writing to the mother club to do what? So I think it was in good faith that Kwesi Edu and the management of BBN Gold Stars trashed Kotoko's letter. But I'm saying that Kotoko wait for Kamara Jenfi's contract to expire. Next week Friday, he becomes unattached, a free agent. Negotiate with him. If he agrees to your contract terms, he joins you as a free agent. That ends it. So Kamara Jenfi to Kotoko has caught fire. Tuesday it looks good, but today, Thursday, 2 days after, it looks gloomy, and then it looks dark. And so we will have to wait for some time to early next week to find out whether the guy will give Kotoko his word, he will renew his contract to BBN, or he will favor the move to Turkish first division. Now, at 5 p.m. today, my clock says it's 4:22. At 5 p.m. at Adabraka today, IMC chairman for Kotoko, Nana Kwesi Apenkra, will be meeting. I don't want to say circles because they don't have leadership now, and for some time it has become redundant. So I don't know the correct word to use, but then circles, I mean, that's what we know. Kumasi Asante Kotoko sporting clubs, they are supporting chapters. Chapter is for House of Folk, circles is to Kotoko. Nana Kwesi Apenkra will be meeting Kotoko supporters in Accra. On Sunday, they'll be meeting Golden Kicks in the MTN FA Cup final. So the IMC chairman and his members, including and not limited to Dr. Kwesi Appiah, will be meeting supporters in Accra to see the way forward and to see how best they can mobilize supporters to troop the UG Sports Complex on Sunday to come witness Kumasi Asante Kotoko lift their 10th MTN FA Cup final. So the big meeting comes off today at 5 p.m. at Adabraka. Nana Kwesi Apenkra, IMC chairman, his members will be meeting I don't want to say circles, but the Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans in Accra to see the way forward in their MTN FA Cup final on Sunday at the University of Ghana Sports Complex. So the big meeting comes off 5 p.m. today. I made a story 3 weeks ago that defender Samba O'Neill has recommended 2 DMs to Kotoko and 2 strikers to Kotoko. They are both Congolese, and so Samba O'Neill thinks that these strikers will augment the squad, and not just that, they will uplift the attacking prowess and the scoring abilities of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. One of those strikers will be landing in Kumasi tomorrow. So a Congolese striker who was recommended to the club by Samba O'Neill, who has been, in blazing form, who has been in blistering form, and who has, been unbeatable, top 3 centre backs in the Ghana Premier League, and you mentioned Samba O'Neill's name. The striker that he recommended to Kotoko will be touching base in Kumasi tomorrow. So the technical team will have a week or 2 to assess him, assess his scoring prowess, to assess his firing power, and to see whether he lifts the team's attacking prowess or he falls short and that they wouldn't sign him. So he touches down, and the fans who are closer to Acquah will have a feel of the Congolese striker, and they will bear witness whether or not the club should sign him going to Africa or not. Someone else recommended striker touches base tomorrow and will have a justify with the team for a week or 2 whether or not he be signed. The decision lies with Coach Karimzito and his technical team. The chase for Evans Owusu. 3 weeks ago, I don't know why all the stories I'm confirming today, I talked about it 3 weeks ago, but then, it is what it is. So 3 weeks ago, I told you that Kotoko had placed the call to Samatex in Samaraboy, asking for the services of winger Evans Owusu. And the response they got is that Evans Owusu is no more a player of Samatex. He is now a free agent because he had gotten an injury in 2023 in the later part of early part of 2024, and then he had missed the entire 2024-2025 season. So Kotoko can go ahead and negotiate with him. But Kotoko weren't quicker in their negotiations, so enters Acquah who are also in the lookout for a winger who is productive, who scores and assists. And so it's now another chase for a player. It's not only Francis Acquah that Hasselhoff is fighting Kotoko for, they are also fighting Kotoko for the services of winger Evans Owusu. It's become tough. I think Evans Owusu has enjoyed the conversation with Coach Albaka of Hasselhoff so much so well that it's become very difficult for the management and the technical team for Kumasi and Kotoko to convince the guy. But then Evans Owusu's contract, Evans Owusu is now a free agent, and so he's negotiating with both Kumasi and Kotoko and Hasselhoff. I don't know if you're a brother or a friend or Evans Owusu himself. I don't know which club you favored the most, whether to join Kumasi and Kotoko or Acquah Hasselhoff. I don't know where you see his future blossoming and glittering, but then he has a choice to select between Kotoko and Hasselhoff. Not much players will get that opportunity, you get it, to have a spot at both Hasselhoff and Kotoko, but then he has a choice. So the ball lies in Evans Owusu's court. And lastly, goalkeeper Aziz Haruna Dari, Bichim United's goalkeeper, yesterday also received Kotoko sent an official offer to the services to the camp of Bichim, asking for the services of goalkeeper Aziz Haruna Dari. Aziz Haruna Dari kept 15 clean sheets. They're just in the Ghana Premier League, and so he's a stalwart in goal post, and then he has future because he's young and he can man the post for the next 3 seasons. So Bichim United are ready to release the guy. Yesterday, the guy's management called president of Bichim United, Agama, and then Agama also contacted his management, and then they are willing, based on the good rapport and the cordial relationship that exists between Kotoko and Bichim, they are willing to release goalkeeper Abdul Aziz Dari to Kotoko. His contract expires in 4th August, and so just 2 months away his contract expires. But then again, Kotoko would like to negotiate with Bichim United so that they can pay a transfer fee for them to at least offset their debts. So goalkeeper Aziz Haruna Dari from Bichim to Kotoko is also on. This has been our stories, transfer stories in the Ghana Premier League in the local scene that we brought to bear this afternoon. We thank you for your audience once more. When you get this video, I implore you once more to like, to share for a friend to also share to a friend. Drop your comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to the Football 360 channel. That has been our afternoon tidbit. Thank you for joining us.